And some breaking news on the Russian investigation. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein reportedly telling President Trump just last week that he is not a target of any part of the special counsel's investigation or the investigation into his longtime lawyer, Michael Cohen. This latest development sure to be seen as great news by the president, who just railed against the investigation as a, quote, hoax.
There's no collusion. There was no collusion with Russia other than by the Democrats. This was really a hoax created largely by the Democrats as a way of softening the blow of a loss. This is a hoax. As far as the investigation, nobody has ever been more transparent than I have.
And just moments ago, former FBI Director James Comey weighed in on the news, of course.
I don't know what it means. It's a fairly standard part of any investigation, trying to decide whether a person you're encountering is a witness, a subject, or a target. A target is someone on whom the investigation, the grand jury, has developed significant evidence sufficient to charge. Witness is somebody who has nothing to do with any exposure, and a subject is everybody in the middle. So I don't know the context in which the Deputy Attorney General did that, but that's the general framework.
All right, almost on another episode of Tonight, Shakespeare in the Park, starring James Comey, pontificating. All right, so Jesse,
yes.
He's, just a thoughtful guy, poetry in motion he is, and wants to weigh in on everything to sell a couple books.
Yeah, and he will sell books, but I think his time is up. People are already sick of James Comey, but we're not going to be sick of him when he comes on Fox News in a couple weeks. Then we're going to really tune in to Bret Baier, tear him apart. The Trump-Russia investigation has lasted almost 2 years at this point. This has gone on longer than the 9/11 Commission. They've had multiple people from Team Trump testify in front of the House and the Senate, some of them 3 to 4 times. They've turned over 1 million documents. They've found no collusion. If there was a smoking gun of collusion, it would have leaked because everything else does. There are no crimes that we have seen so far. So I don't know what they're looking for. You know who hasn't even testified in front of Mueller? Brad Parscale, Trump's own campaign manager, the head of the digital media strategy during the election. He's never even been brought in to be interviewed. So what is Mueller doing? Mueller, I guess they approved this raid on Cohen for a campaign finance violation to pay off a porn star. I mean, that's like a fine. Bernie Sanders paid $14 grand for taking money from the Australians. You don't raid some guy's house over a campaign finance violation.
Right.
Exactly. So it's totally heavy-handed. I think what they're trying to do is flip and squeeze Cohen because they think he might have something based on the dossier. He was the centerpiece of the dossier. They said he was in Prague and he's meeting with this Russian and they're going to cook up some scheme to rig the election. His passport says he's never even been to Prague. So I don't have any idea what they're looking for. And if you look at the collusion, Hillary was the one that paid for fake news from Russia. She was the one that got that into the bloodstream of the intelligence community. It was her husband that took $500 million to speak in Moscow, not Trump's spouse. It was her foundation that took millions of dollars from the Russians, not Trump's foundations. So when you look at how it's been treated, the FBI did not go after the DNC server. The FBI did not try to seize Hillary's server. Instead, they try to seize Trump's lawyers' computers. And they respected Hillary's attorney-client privilege, obviously not Trump's attorney-client privilege.
Double standard, Jesse.
Huge double standard here.
Yeah, all right. Jesse rests his case. Kennedy, do you concur or do you supplement with an amicus brief?
No, here's a couple of different things that are happening here. Either this is a way of having the president let down his guard and his defenses.
Right.
So he agrees to talk with the special counsel and cooperate with the investigation so they can ensnare him in some sort of a perjury trap.
Sure.
And then, we'll push the boundaries and figure out whether or not a sitting president really can be charged with something. Or the investigation is actually winding down and people will find that it's been a big waste of time and money. And I think if that truly happens, there will be so much frustration. And it's actually worse for the situation that we're in right now with the FBI and the DOJ because there's been such an erosion of trust. And now if you have politicized bodies, which are supposed to be objective, going after people to bring them down because they're unhappy with the outcome of an election, what does that say about the state of government when you can't even trust an objective source?
Sure. Right, I know. So Tyrus, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Hi.
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 Oh, man, you know what? When I look at my life and every time I've ever been in trouble with the law, which hasn't been a lot, but when I have and they say, hey, Tyrus, you're not a subject of this investigation, high five, I'm not talking anymore, may I go? And that's how our president needs to treat this. I'm not a subject of, cool, move on. Let's focus on infrastructure. Let's focus on some other stuff. It's not me, guys. So whoever they're looking for, enjoy that. But as far as I'm concerned, it's done. He doesn't have to talk to him because he's not a target of the investigation.
Don't be lured
so
into
this
the
is like,
mousetrap,
this is a great day. This is a great day. If you told me I'm not a target, I don't have to talk to you anymore, and we can move on.
Yeah, so no sour grapes, right? Juan, is that he should just let it go?
Well, he's been told that he was not a target before. And
He told he wasn't yeah, exactly, that he was a subject but not a target.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if he's still a subject, though.
Of course, I think he is a subject, but I don't know. The point was that he's not a target.
Well, subject
as
can
we
turn
just
into
said.
one.
Yeah, he can instantly turn into a target. So it doesn't have a whole lot of significance in that regard for this investigation. I was so fascinated listening to Jesse. Sometimes I listen to Jesse and I think, Jesse,
Look at him smile.
Jesse is the poet of Trumplandia. Yes, because you capture the president's voice so ably.
I'm just happy you're actually listening to me, Juan.
Of course I listen to you.
Because a lot of the times it doesn't seem like
No, I listen.
He's like
because
the fiddler on
you're
the
like
oval,
you're
playing
my
his music.
inside source, brother.
Okay.
I listen to you because I want to hear
I
what the
think you're
president's
listening,
thinking.
but you're not hearing.
Oh no, I hear. But then when I hear, sometimes I think, like, gee, I wonder. Let's say that Paul Manafort's watching the Five. Oh,
Yeah.
how about Michael Flynn? I bet he watches the Five.
Yeah.
How about George Papadopoulos? You think he watches the Five?
Yeah.
They wouldn't say that nothing has come of this They'd say, my God,
What does that have to do
I
with
might be
collusion?
going to jail.
What does it have to do
we
with
don't know.
collusion?
That's
It
the
has to
second
do with
thing.
he has a fine
That's the
taste for
second
Persian
thing.
rugs.
All right, you too.